don't have to listen. I'm testing the mic. You are our future. We believe in you and the choices you will make. Yeah. My mic is on. My mic is on, Karma. You could hear me and the piano balanced. Seemed like it was balanced with each other. There I am. Okay, I guess I stopped the show here. Just trying to make sure that you'll be able to hear. Trevor? But it is on now. Test. It was off. Okay, good.
Welcome. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Excellent. I was looking for that response. We welcome everyone, family and friends who've come from near and far. It's so great to have you to join us here at Temple Israel. I'm Rabbi Jason Gwastoff, and this is Lindy Passer, our temple soloist and music director, and my wife. I think you know who this is. And we're about to experience and share in a joyous celebration. And we'd like to start by singing a wonderful song. If you have in your hand the Siddur, the prayer book, go ahead and open to the first page. And we're going to sing the song number 2 at the bottom of the page, Hine Ma Tov, which means behold and how good it is that brothers and sisters dwell together. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Agam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Agam Yachad. Let's try it again. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Agam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Agam Yachad.
Now sing after me. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is to be together on this day.
Let me hear you a little more. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Agam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Agam Yachad.
Let me hear you this time. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is to be together on this day.
How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Welcome once again, and I want to compliment you on how good you sound. This is your audition for the choir, and you're all in. I'm kidding. But not so much, because we really love for you to participate in the service just as much as possible in the reading of the prayers in English and the singing and the Hebrew. And I know that's difficult for those who don't know Hebrew. Some maybe have never been in a synagogue before, but don't let that get in the way. What's important is the spirit that you bring to it. And as I always like to say, if the Hebrew gets in the way, lie works just fine. But seriously, it will be that much enjoyable for you and everyone here if you are an active participant and not a passive observer. So that's what we wish, and that's what we invite you to do. I'd like for everyone to pull out your cell phone and check and make sure that it's on silent, or go ahead and turn it off so our service isn't interrupted by those dial tones and various jingles and noises that we're also familiar with. And our service continues as we turn to page 4, and I'm so pleased and happy to invite up onto the bima Trevor's grandmother, Arloa Bell, and Aunt Erica McKinney for a special family blessing.
Trevor, may you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come. And may you trust in generations past and yet to be. May your heart be filled with intuition and your words be rich in understanding. May your songs of praise ever be on your tongue and your vision clarify a straight path before you.
May your eyes shine with the light of holy words, and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips speak wisdom, and your fulfillment be in righteousness, and may your heart always be open to the words of the holy ancient one of old.
Go ahead and give a hug. We're going to speak a lot today about tradition, about values, about passing down a heritage from one generation to the next, because that's really what this day is all about. As Trevor becomes today, it celebrates his bar mitzvah. He becomes a son of the commandments of our people, meaning he's passing into young adulthood. He's ready to understand on a deeper level what it means to be a part of the Jewish people, ready to take on more responsibilities for his own religious life. And as you look around the room, you see a lot of symbols, a lot of ritual objects, and they all have meaning. And many of us are wearing what we call a kippah or a yarmulke. We cover our heads as a way of reminding ourselves that we are not the center of the universe, that there's something greater than ourselves, so it's a sign of our piety. And many are wearing what we call a talit, a prayer shawl. And they're beautiful today. They come in many different colors with wonderful embroidery and artistry. They're beautiful to look at. But none of the color or the artistry is really what's significant about a talit. It's all about the simple fringes that are affixed to the four corners. And this is actually a commandment in the Hebrew Bible that says affix fringes to the corners of your garment. And it's kind of like tying a string on your finger. It's there as a reminder of the, how many commandments, mitzvot, are in the Torah? 630. I did not even set him up to give me that answer. He knew it. Not 10, but 613 commandments in the Torah that deal with every aspect of life. And so all these knots and coils, in the Jewish world, everything has significance. And long ago, the rabbis assigned this significance. Every letter in the Hebrew alphabet has a number. And so it's kind of a code, the way it's tied with knots and coils. It says, Adonai Echad, that God is one, which really is where Judaism begins, this idea that we are all created, and the universe, and our earth, and the plants, and the animals, and every human being, all the product of one creator, which means there's a unity between all of nature and between all of humanity. And our job is to look beyond the exteriors, race, ethnicity, religious differences, and find the spark of divinity, the godliness in every human being. This reminds us of that. And it's also a reminder of the 613 of the commandments in the Torah. Today, Trevor receives his talit and puts it on for the first time as a part of his bar mitzvah celebration. And I'm so pleased to invite Mom and Dad, Anna and Derek, to come onto the bima and present him with his talit and share with us a few words of blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
My cute boy. Trevor, I am so proud of you. You have spent years on this. Years. You were a lot shorter when we started. Look at you go. I'm wearing high heels now just so I can be taller, right? And I could not be happier than today, right? To celebrate together this really amazing honor. Since you were a baby, we all knew, what are you going to be? An athlete, right? What was your very first word? Ball. Not mom, not dad, ball. It did not matter if it was a football, a soccer ball, now a water polo ball, right? Anything you could pass, spike, toss. That was you. And you were amazing at it. But you were also very sweet and kind and smart and especially caring. And that is just such an amazing combination of things. And also pretty funny. And you know how to cook, which I take advantage of on Mother's Day every year. But one of my favorite things is how deeply caring you are. When we're winding down at night, right, and we're talking, you always ask me how I am. How was my day, right? How did things go? If I'm a little stressed, you take care of me, don't you? And it really matters because it's such an incredible display of who you are inside, not just that strong, athletic, competitive guy on the outside, right? And with the puppies, they all cuddle. They need to be soft and warm and comfortable. And that's all how caring you are. You've always been tremendously caring as a boy. And now I get to see you grow and be kind and respectful as a man. And it is going to be so fun to watch. Today you're showing all these different sides of you. The strong athletic side, who's muscling through the hard words. I know you're going to make it. Commits to learning all the melodies. You did all the practice, right? That was amazing. You're also the curious history buff. You told me was it yesterday we were driving back? And how your Torah portion links to some sayings by Confucius. The history lesson you told me in the Louvre, right? As we were looking at the paintings. And you're the caring one who donates part of your gifts, right? And it's not just this year, but every year. You want to make a donation, and I love that. So later tonight, we're going to see the funny one, I hope, on the dance floor with me, cutting a rug, because you know how much I love to dance, and I know you do too, and we're going to have a blast, and we're going to celebrate, because I could not be more proud of my strong, athletic, smart, kind, caring boy. I love you so much.
All right, buddy. So my first gift to you is I'm going to keep this extremely short. For everybody, for that matter. But mine goes hand in hand with his mother. I'm the emotional one. It's just like what I said. So for the kid, when you first came into this world, couldn't have been louder, couldn't have been more screaming. To a kid that's evolved to be so calm, reserved, kind, as Mom said. We could go on endlessly. But obviously the exception, like Mom alluded to too, is if somebody's in your way and competitive, then heaven help them. And you will hear it to no end. You have made me so incredibly proud. I probably don't tell you that enough. But specifically Thursday when we were standing here, going through the preparatory portion of this, I knew you had prepared. I had seen you working with us, but how you got to that level, this blows me away. I'm incredibly proud.
At special moments in life, especially when we're overcome with emotion, and shed a few happy tears.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
We say a special blessing, thanking God for giving us life and keeping us and allowing us to celebrate these special times. It's called the Shehechianu, and it's at the bottom of page 4, and we invite you to join us in singing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו בזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו בזמן הזה. Amen. Please join us on Amen. I have to say, I love it when the dads cry. And nobody cried more than I did at my son's bar mitzvahs. Oh, so our service continues on page 5 with a beautiful psalm, Marabu.
I think it's on the top of page 6.
Oh, page 6. Adonai, Marabu, 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 Ma'asecha Adonai. Kulam bechokma asita, Kulam bechokma asita, Kulam bechokma asita, Marabu. Marabu, 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 Ma'asecha Adonai. Marabu, 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 Ma'asecha Adonai. Kulam bechokma asita, Kulam bechokma asita, Kulam bechokma asita, Marabu, 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 Ma'asecha Adonai. Marabu, 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 Ma'asecha Adonai. For those of you who came thinking this was going to be a solemn, somber event, sorry, anything but. Go ahead.
Let's get right in them.
These are the duties whose worth cannot be measured. Honoring one's
One's
father and mother, acts of love and kindness,
diligent pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, hospitality to strangers, visiting the sick, celebrating with bride and groom, consoling the bereaved, praying with sincerity, and making peace where there is strife, and the study of Torah leads to them all.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasek vivina lehavhin ben yom uven laila.
Praise be the eternal God who has implanted mind and instinct within every living being.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani Yisrael.
Praise be the eternal God who has made me a Jew.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani ben horim.
Praise be the eternal God who has made me to be free.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Praise be the eternal God who helps the blind to see.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Praise be the eternal God who clothes the naked.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Praise be the eternal God who frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Praise be the eternal God who lifts up the fallen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamehin mitzadei gaver.
Praise be the eternal God who makes firm our steps.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura.
Praise be the eternal God who girds our people Israel with strength.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Praise be the eternal God who crowns Israel with glory.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layaif koach.
Praise be the eternal God who gives strength to the weary.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir she'ena me'enai utnuma me'afapai.
Praise be the eternal God who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Those who are able, please rise.
Page 10.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Vaed.
We continue chanting the Via Hafta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi metzavecha Hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta baham veshivtecha bevetecha uvlechtecha vaderech uveshokbecha uvkumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai Vitem kedoshim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeiti etchem Meretz Mitzrayim Lihiot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
I continue on page 11. Standing at the water's edge, the sea spray on your cheek, close your eyes and feel within the beating of freedom's drum. Listen closely on the breeze. Do you hear the music of the ages? O God, you beat the drum. You are the song. You are the wonder in each of us. With joy and awe, we sing to you the song of freedom.
Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'etar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei felech, osei felech, mi kamocha
Those who are able, please rise.
As we continue on page 12. Adonai, Ananana svatai tiftat, Ananana ufi agid, Ufi agid tehilatecha, Ananana Adonai, Ananana svatai tiftat, Ananana ufi agid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor veHanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Michayeh HaKol, Atah Rav leHoshia, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Michayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Cholim, Umatir Hasurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishanei Afar, Michamocha Bagivurot, Umido Melech, Melech Meimit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman nata lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Michayeh hakol.
Nikadesh
Et shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatuv ayad neviecha, v'kara zeh ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tziva'ot, Melot kol haaretz tevodo. Adirenu Adonai, Adonenu ma'adir shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, Umavenu, Umoshienu vehu yashmienu, Berachamav le'nei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Yichsion, Bedor vador vador, Hallelujah.
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated.
When we pray the words of the Siddur of the prayer book, we're praying prayers that are ancient. Some of the words come from Scripture, from the Torah. Some of the words are beautiful religious poetry written in different times. And they take us through a history lesson, actually, going all the way back to the creation and through some of the seminal moments of the Jewish experience. And we recite them so that we remember and so that we are awakened to pay attention and to give thanks for the blessings of life and this world in which we live. But in each of our services, we like to take a few quiet moments and invite everyone to pray in their own way, or to turn inward to meditate, to count the blessings of your life, or to pray the prayers that are written on your heart. Or if you want some inspiration, there's some beautiful meditations on the next 2 pages.
Continue on page 17 at the bottom.
From the Jordan River to the Galilee, from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, from the top of Masada to the western wall, you can feel it, yes, it's realness. From Theodore Herzl to Ben Gurion, from Golda Meir the magic passes on. If you will it, you will see. If you dream it, it can be. You hold a piece of a dream. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You hold a piece of a dream, and it's a dream come true. A desert blooms, a dream comes true. A homeland's built for me and you. If we will it, it can be. If we dream it, we will see. We hold a piece of the dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of the dream, and it's a dream come true.
We hold a piece of the dream.
We hold a piece of a dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of a dream, and it's a dream come true. On Yisrael Chai, on Yisrael Chai, on Yisrael Chai, O Davinu Chai, 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 Chai.
We hold a piece of the dream.
We hold a piece of the dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of the dream, and it's a dream come true. We hold a piece of the dream. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We hold a piece of the dream, and it's a dream come true. Well, we're about to transition in our service to a very important moment called Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the special service for the reading of the Torah. And we're going to turn around and open what we call the Aron Kodesh, the Holy Ark, and bring one of our scrolls out and pass it down through the generations of Trevor's family, literally into his arms. And he's going to bring it out into the congregation and march up and down the aisles. The tradition is that people step forward and with their talit, their prayer shawl, or their prayer book, they kiss the Torah, a sign of our love and reverence and respect for the scroll and the tradition it represents. You don't have to do that, but I'm just letting you know what might happen. Don't be afraid. And Trevor's going to do a figure 8 around the sanctuary, and then he's going to come back up on the bima. While he's doing that, some of his friends are going to be walking around distributing individually wrapped pieces of candy. Not meant to be a mid-service snack, although you do look hungry. And it's almost unfair because you can't eat it. We want you to hold... Yet. We want you to hang on to it and maybe even put it in your pocket or put it down, because those wrappers can be, the crinkly wrappers can make a lot of noise. But save it for a special moment after Trevor has his special aliyah, his honor of being called by his Hebrew name, which is really the big honor of today. When that's over, we are going to invite you to toss the candy up here at us. Oh, so gently. And it's all about the joy of the moment and the sweetness of the moment. So I just wanted to fill you in. Now you know what's going to happen. So we invite up onto the bima for the honor of opening the ark, great aunt and uncle Eugenia and Nahum Pasternak, and we ask you all to please rise.
We're on page 19. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai Mirushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato. This is the Torah, Israel's morashah, the eternal inheritance of our people. Wherever Jews have wandered the globe, we have carried it with us. It is the source of our history, our commandments, our values, our tradition. We call it our tree of life, just as a real tree nourishes and sustains life by providing oxygen and wood and paper and fruit and on and on. So the Torah sustains and nourishes us. Today, Trevor, we pass this Torah down and place it lovingly in your arms with great trust that you will continue to learn from it and make it a part of your life and bring its teachings and its holiness, its truths, and its paths for building a better world into our world, because we need you and we need these positive values. So we invite your grandparents, Rima and Fima, and your mom and dad, Anna and Derek, to join us on the bima as we pass the Torah through the generations of your family to you. L'dor vador,
L'dor vador,
Nagid kod lecha,
Nagid kod lecha,
U'lanetzach netzachim kedushatcha, Nagdish b'shivchacha,
B'shivchacha Eloheinu, Mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed.
spoke to the children of Israel and said, "It is not enough that you have received the Torah from me. You must make it new again in every generation."
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav etzivanu לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. We invite cousins Alina, Stan, and Mia Byrne onto the bima for the honor of undressing the Torah. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav etzivanu לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav etzivanu לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Please be seated. So every week, we open the Ark and we bring out the Torah and we read the Torah portion that's assigned for that week. But actually, it's just reading the Torah in order, because every year we read the Torah from the very beginning, from the story of creation all the way to the end of the book of Deuteronomy, the Torah being the 5 books of Moses, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. And so we're rolling, and you can see most of the scroll is on this side because we're getting pretty close. We're almost at the end of our annual cycle. It means the high holidays are rolling around. Oy, I just got nervous. And soon after that, Simchat Torah, the holiday where we celebrate the completion of the annual cycle, and we start all over again. Our Torah portion this week is called Shoftim. It means judges, and it's very near and dear to me because It was my bar mitzvah Torah portion just a few years ago. And there are lots of important things in this Torah portion that are being talked about judging, about justice. And I'm not going to say anything more because after the reading, Trevor is going to share with us a wonderful, wonderful homily. We call a Devar Torah, or words of Torah. And he's going to take just one of the important teachings that's in this portion, and he's going to make it relevant for our day and time. So get ready for something very special. We invite up onto the Bima family members for the honor of the Aliyah for being called up to recite the blessing for the reading of the Torah. Yamod Rishon Vladim ben Yefim Verima, Michal bat Heri v'Meriam, Yefin ben Ramhil v'Ethel, Rima bat Leonid v'Tzitzilia. We call for the first Aliyah, Uncle and Aunt Vadim and Michelle Gelman, grandparents Yefim and Rima Gelman.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Lo tasig givu re'acha asher gavlu rishonim ben ahalatcha asher tinhal baretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha lerishtav.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Come and stand here. Yamod Sheni Chanabat Yefim Verima Leonid Bat Chana. We call for the second Aliyah, parents Derek and Annabelle, and brother Ryan Bell.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Ki yakum et Hamas einecha beish la'anot bo sarah.
Baruch Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'tuhenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. He's doing great. Come and stand over here. Yashar koach. It's been a while. Yeah. we get to experience so many blessings. And whenever our Sefer Torah, our Torah scroll, is out in the congregation, we like to recite several special blessings, and especially a blessing for health and for healing. And we're thinking about our good friends and our family members who are ailing and who need our strength and our support, our calls and our visits, whatever we could do to bring them a little bit of hope and a little bit of strength as they heal, and our prayers for a refuah shlema, a full and speedy healing. And so if you have someone in your life, a friend, a family member, don't be shy. As my hand crosses across the room, say their name aloud. Works for Jew and Gentile alike. And we hold all those who we know are healing as we sing together the Misha Barak prayer, which is found in our prayer book on page
22.
22. Avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Motenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. In addition to the names mentioned aloud, we pray for all of us here and those who are joining us online who are in need of these same blessings, for refuat hanefesh and refuat haguf, for healing of mind and body and spirit. Baruch atah Adonai rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, O God, who heals the sick.
Amen.
There's one more important and meaningful thing that we like to do before we call Trevor for his special aliyah, and that's a twinning ceremony. Each of our students here at Temple Israel and in many other congregations around the country will twin their bar mitzvah with a young child who did not survive the Holocaust. A young child whose life was cut short, who didn't have the opportunity to grow up with so much joy and warmth and values and promise of a happy life. We do so that they're not forgotten. we make this symbolic twinning. And I think it has extra potency today, knowing the history of this family. For on the maternal side, they came to this country from Kiev, which today is Ukraine. Before it was Russia, before that, a long history where many Jews lived for over 1,000 years, and many suffered, and especially during the Holocaust, many did not survive, including undoubtedly members of the Gelman family. And so we especially want to remember them. And we have information about a young child whose last name was Gelman. He just might have been a cousin or a distant relative of yours. And we invite you to bring his name and his memory forward with this dedication.
As I become a bar mitzvah, I pledge to remember Mikhail Gelman. We do not know when Mikhail was born or what his parents' names were. We do know that he was born in Russia, in the city of Kiev. His name, birthplace, and designation of child were found in the list of those designed for Baba Yar. Baba Yar is a ravine in Kiev and was the site of multiple massacres carried out by Nazi forces. The first of these massacres took place on September 29th and 30th, 1941. Over this two-day period, 33,771 Jews were murdered. Today I remember him and read Torah in his honor. On Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, I will remember him. When I say Mourner's Kaddish, I will remember him. Mikhail could not become a bar mitzvah. I am doing this for him, for me, and for the Jewish people. I make this pledge in honor of all those who perished in the Holocaust.
Thank you, Trevor. That was so meaningful to hear you read that and to say the name. And what you're doing today is even more so, because the very best thing that we could do in the face of all that darkness and tragedy is to go on living happy, productive, meaningful Jewish lives. You are the hope of the future. You are doing just that, and we thank you, Trevor. And now is your big moment. You know, anybody can read Torah with like 4 years preparation and a lot of hard work and study, but only someone who reaches this age of 13 can be called by their Hebrew name forward to the Torah for this honor of reciting the blessing and chanting the Aliyah. And this, Trevor, is your moment. Yamod Habar Mitzvah Gideon Ben Chana. We call our bar mitzvah Trevor Bell.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Velo tachos einecha nefesh benefesh ayin be'ayin shein beshein yad beyad regel beregel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan betoheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Now. Simin Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Simin Tov, Simin Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Simin Tov, Simin Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Simin Tov. Yehelanu, 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 Ulekol Am Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulekol Am Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulekol Am Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulekol Am Yisrael. Trevor, let me teach you something. Candy, not ball, candy. That was a pretty strong throw that you had. Don't know if that's from baseball or water polo, but oh my God. You almost took out someone's eye. So in a moment, we're going to need help because we've got a real mess up here, and all this candy needs to be picked up. So we invite all the young people present in the congregation today that's self-defined. But not yet. In a few minutes, while we are lifting the Torah, which is a ritual that has great meaning, where I lift the Torah and turn around so you can see the actual handwritten words of the scroll and know that this is not some private teaching held in a locked cabinet somewhere by some priest. It is a gift to the Jewish people, and through us to the rest of the world, a blueprint for building a better world. If only we would study it and bring its teachings into the world. So that's the significance of that moment, and that's when we invite the young people to, oh so slowly, come up onto the bima and pick up all the candy here. And what they do is they bring it out and they give it to all the adults. They don't eat a piece. I try. But you can bring all the candy out. And if you get candy, again, hold it quietly because you don't want to interrupt the wonderful speech, the Devar Torah. And if by accident it makes its way into your mouth, please don't leave the wrapper in the sanctuary. Put it in your pocket or pocketbook, or take it out with you. We invite up onto the bima for the honor of, oh, not this time, never mind, but for the honor of dressing the Torah, cousins Olga and Lily Pasternak, and I invite you all to please rise.
V'zot Torah
Asher Sam Moshe Lifnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai V'yad Moshe. We do need help picking up candy. Come on, Miller, come on up.
Everybody help pick up. Ki lakachta natati lachem
Torati al ta'azovu Eitz hayim hi lama chazikim v'tomcheha me'ushar Devacheha darchei noam v'chol nativotecha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Hadeshamenu, Hadeshamenu, Kekedem. You may be seated. We had a rather small cleanup crew this morning, but I must say they did a very good job.
As you probably all know, there is a very well-known children's book by Shel Silverstein called The Giving Tree. At first glance, it may just look like a sweet story for children, but look again and potentially it has a darker, more negative side. In fact, many critics have written that The Giving Tree is one of the favorite children's books of all time, but also one of the most hated. Let me remind you of the story and explain why. When the story begins, a little boy climbs a tree, swings from her branches, and chows down on all her apples. And as the story will say over and over again, the tree was happy. But time passes, and the boy forgets about the tree. Years later, the boy, now a grown man, returns asking for money. Not having any to offer, the tree is happy to give him her apples to sell, and then her branches to build a house, and later, even her trunk to make a boat, until there is nothing left of the tree but a sad old stump, upon which the boy, now an old man, sits. The sweet side of the story is that the tree unselfishly gave everything she could to the boy, even at the end, with nothing left to give. The story says the tree was happy. The negative take on the story is that the boy kept selfishly taking from the tree, with no regard for the tree's well-being. He just took and took and took until all that was left was the stump, unable to provide anything more. From this perspective, it is a sad story, a cautionary tale about how selfish and self-centered some people can be, and how they take from themselves everything they want or need with no regard for others or for the future. I am sharing this story with you because it reminded me of an interesting commandment that comes from our Torah portion today, Shoftim. The name of the commandment is Bal Tashit, which means do not destroy. In our portion, Moses tells the people, when in your war against a city, you have to besiege it a long time in order to capture it. You must not destroy its trees, wielding the axe against them. You may eat of them, but you must not cut them down. It is from Moses' powerful speech, commanding our people not to cut down trees, that the rabbis of the commentary derive the principle, Bal Tashit, do not destroy. And the rabbis expand the commandment beyond times of war. And it's not just trees we are commanded to preserve, but we are also specifically not permitted to aimlessly break dishes, tear clothing, wreck a building, clog a fountain, or waste food. We could probably add dozens of other things to that list, but I think that gives you the general idea. The rabbis are trying to teach an important lesson about our ecosystem and the importance of not needlessly wasting and destroying things. Even hundreds of years ago, they had the foresight to know that there is a fragile balance in nature. We are blessed to have an abundance of natural resources. But if we keep hurting and abusing the planet, especially the way we are today, we might end up destroying it. Moses ibn Ezra, for example, who lived 1,000 years ago in the 11th century, took a very pragmatic approach about this commandment against chopping down trees. He said that fruit trees yield food. Human beings require their produce for existence. Therefore, he argued, the life of human beings derives from trees. In other words, he understood that if we cut down too many trees or carelessly spoil our air and water, we are only hurting ourselves. Destruction of the environment results in self-destruction. Speaking of self-destruction, did you know that there is an environmental disaster occurring right now in Ukraine due to the ongoing Russian invasion? Both the people and the natural environment in Ukraine have been under attack. On a daily basis, there are missile attacks on factories and chemical plants, rockets are polluting soil and groundwater, fires threaten to expel radioactive particles, and warships have reportedly killed dolphins in the Black Sea. An article on this very topic in Vox, an online news source, states, and I quote, though not as visible as the thousands of lost lives, the environmental costs of the war are insidious, quietly harming people and wildlife for decades after fighting stops, end quote. It is clear that the fighting in Ukraine is going to have a devastating effect on its environment for years to come. To many of you, this might just be an interesting news story, but for me and my family, it hits close to home. For my mother and her family were born in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, and came here as immigrants. When they watch TV or see pictures in the news from the war in Ukraine, they are not just seeing destroyed buildings and people being killed in a far-off land, but in the land of their birth. I thank God that they no longer live there and that they are safe from all the violence and destruction, and I am glad I was born far away from that tragedy. But knowing my heritage and knowing about the commandment Bal Tashit, I cannot just turn my head and ignore what's going on. I have to pay attention by watching the news and learning as much as I can about the war and its devastating effects. I have to inform and educate others, as I am today, and helping people understand how important this is. Today, this violence and destruction of natural resources is happening in Ukraine. But if we do not do what we can to stop it, it could easily spread to other nations and escalate into an even bigger tragedy. We also need to think about what's happening right here at home. There are so many ways in which the commandment, Bal Tashit, do not destroy, should influence and inspire us in our daily lives. There are so many ways in which we are hurting the environment, such as not recycling, polluting our oceans, and depleting the ozone layer by putting too many toxins in the atmosphere. There are so many things that we can do to make a difference, if only we would take this more seriously. I'd like to conclude with a short story about a man named Honi Magal. This man, Honi, was walking down a road one day when he spotted a very old man planting a carob tree. He was puzzled by this because he knew that it takes many years for a carob tree to bear fruit. So he approaches the old man and gently asks, "Old man, I see you planting this carob tree. Do you really expect to eat from its fruit?" And the old man replies, "I am planting this tree not for me, but for my children and grandchildren and the generations to come." This is a great example, I think, about somebody caring about the future and a lesson that we should all take inspiration from. Let us take to heart the commandment Bal Tashit and do what we can to ensure that our planet will be healthy and safe for our children and grandchildren and the generations to come. All of the students in our temple are asked to make a tzedakah contribution in honor of their bar or bat mitzvah. Tzedakah means righteous giving. For my tzedakah contribution, I will be giving 10% of the cash gifts I receive for my bar mitzvah to the Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in Israel, SPCA. SPCA Israel is a nonprofit organization that rescues abandoned animals and tries to find good homes for them. This organization was founded in 1927. It has a 7,000 square meter area complex. And I really like the SPCA because it is nonprofit and because people do this important work just for the animals. And I like the fact that they take in abandoned animals. I would like to help as many dogs as possible to have the happy life that my two dogs, Lucy and Lola, have in our home. Now for some thank yous. First, I'd like to thank Rabbi Gwazdoff for helping me write my Devar Torah and going through all the rehearsals with me and making sure I got it right. Karma, thank you for teaching me how to chant my Torah portion and the prayers of the service, and for always being patient, giving me so much encouragement along the way. Lindy, thank you for helping me with the music, setting a new record for the fastest Zoom meeting, and for singing so beautifully today. You always bring so much spirit and warmth to our services. Ryan, thank you for always, and I mean always, making sure that I was chanting the Nisim correctly while practicing, even when I was right about it. But seriously, thank you for always being there for me and being such a great big brother. You're the best. Thank you, Grandma Rima and Grandpa Fima, for always letting me stay at your house, let me play Wii Sports when I was stressed out. The two of you are such a big part in my everyday life, and I appreciate everything you always do for me. Grandma Loa, thank you for coming all the way out from Indiana to share this special day with me. I don't get to see you as often, but you are still very special to me. I love our tradition of going out to Sonic together whenever I see you. Mom and Dad, you are always there for me, both in good times and bad, cheering me on in sports, and supporting me in everything I do. The two of you probably drive literal hundreds of miles every week, driving me and Ryan to school, to practice, and temple, only to do it again the following week. From the bottom of my heart, I love you both, and I appreciate everything you've done for me. Last but not least, I want to thank everybody who came to celebrate this with me today from near and far. Everybody who's joining us online, your presence and your support makes this day a real celebration. Shabbat Shalom.
Trevor! Trevor! Trevor.
Hi.
Who are you? didn't he grow up on the bema right before our eyes from the beginning of the service until right now? Did you notice how his confidence just kept growing and growing and growing? He started like this, he ended like this. And everything that you did was just top notch. You read the service beautifully, chanted the prayers and the Torah, and you delivered with so much passion and enthusiasm, such a wonderful, meaningful, and profound Devar Torah that takes those ancient words of wisdom and brings them right into our own day and time. And you spoke to something that's happening right now, the environmental disaster here in our country and around the world, but specifically in Ukraine, and tied that to your own family's heritage in such a beautiful way. It touched everyone here, and I hope inspired everyone to want to do something, whether that's learning more about what's happening in Ukraine or going home and doing a better job of recycling or buying an electric car or doing whatever we can to protect our planet and our natural environment. You are everything your parents said. You are a very kind, a very sweet, a very loyal and compassionate young man who I've had the pleasure of watching grow up, not as long as your parents, of course, but since they first brought you to the temple several years ago when you were about half as tall as you are right now. And it's been a pleasure to watch you evolve and grow through the years, along with your brother Ryan, who had his bar mitzvah online because of COVID. It's so great to see you in person. Of course, you look nothing like the young boy that was only 2.5 years ago, and now you're a man. So wonderful that we can all be present together in the sanctuary finally. And it was so wonderful to watch you today, and wonderful to get to know you better through our several weeks of working together on the Devar Torah. You were so diligent and so conscientious, and you always were right there with a strongly held opinion. You kind of knew what you wanted to do. Whenever I asked you this or that, you said that. And you really were the one guiding that whole thing. So I hope that you will remember that. I hope that you'll remember what it feels like standing up here today. Not the nervousness and the terror of it all, but the feeling of pride, knowing that you've accomplished something very difficult and done it in such a beautiful way that you have received this tradition and run it through your own brain and shared it with everyone that's here, that you make the oath and the promise that you did to remember the young boy who did not survive the Holocaust, that you find meaning in being a Jew, and that you'll take those values to heart and always make them a part of your life. I know you're going to do great things. I hope you're going to earn that full scholarship ride to Berkeley to pay water polo that you're working so hard on, because you certainly have what it takes to get there. And if not that, I know that you're going to take what life brings you and you're going to weave beautiful things from it as an architect that you're thinking maybe you'd like to be, or whatever it is you ultimately choose. I know you're going to be a great success, and I know even more that you always are going to be a wonderful mensch, a wonderful, warm human being with all the right stuff. So continue to be as you are today, a blessing to your family, to our community, and to the world. I'll invite you to join me in front of the ark for a quiet blessing.
May your eyes shine with the light of Torah. and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May you see your world created in your lifetime. May you see your visions come to be. May your hope touch every generation to come. These are the prayers we have for you. May you be blessed with understanding, with wisdom and compassion in your heart. May your mouth be filled with song and your lips sing out for justice. These are the prayers we have for you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May the world you live in be the world of your dreams.
It's my pleasure to welcome up onto the bima a new member of our board of directors here at Temple Israel, and a close family friend, and one of the 7 Jews who live in Ripon, Michelle Clark. I don't know, maybe it's 8 or 9.
I get to be here representing our Temple Board of Directors. Hi, everyone. Hi, Trevor. And our broader community here at the Temple. But I also get to be here because I got to meet you a decade ago as a 3-year-old with your brother and your family, and we've become close friends. So it's a wonderful honor to get to be up here with you today. I actually, last night I was writing down words to describe you at 3, and it's all the words we've already heard. So active and smart and charming as a 3-year-old, and then even today, the same things, and kind and thoughtful. But I also wrote down hardworking and focused, as we all got to see today. You did a great job on your Torah portion and on leading us all through the service. So congratulations. Thank you on that. I know your family is just so proud of you. We are all so proud of you as a community, and certainly as your social community as well, seeing you grow up and become the man that you're becoming. So I get the honor of giving you your very own Kiddush cup. So for those of you online or here in person who don't know what a Kiddush cup is, most of our Jewish ceremonies, many of our meals, they start with a blessing over wine. So now, Trevor, you have your own. It's engraved with the date of your bar mitzvah and your name, and you get to bring it forth into your Jewish life with your current family, with any future family that you might build. So enjoy it. It is from the Board of Directors in Temple. There is also a certificate here that I get to present you with. It's signed by Rabbi and Karma, and it acknowledges your achievement today. So they are both very proud of you, like we all are very proud of you, and we're really excited to see how you build your future as a Jewish man. So congratulations. Thank you on today.
Thank you. Good job. And I have 2 quick presentations for you as well. You know, we have out in the lobby there what we call our Simcha tree, right over there. And the tree has leaves, and engraved on those leaves are names of members of our congregation and significant happy events in their lives, like a wedding or an anniversary or a bar or bat mitzvah. Today, Trevor Bell, there is a new leaf on our tree, and it has your name and today's date on it to be a memory of this special day in your life. And your job is every time you come through that lobby, go and find your leaf. Did you find it yet? Yes. Okay. Is it like close so you can see it?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got to find your leaf every time. Take your elbow, give it a little shine. Okay. And also, 120 or so years ago, our people first started to return to our ancient homeland and the land of Israel with the dream of building a modern state, a refuge for Jews all around the world, a modern nation state for the Jewish people. And what they found there were arid deserts of land that had suffered many wars, and there were very few trees, and they realized if that was going to be a place to support life, they needed to start to plant. So with money donated from Jews all around the world, they started to plant trees. And when we entered the current century, there were many more trees in the land of Israel. It's the only country that had a net gain of trees, not a net loss of trees. Over 200 million trees. And today, Trevor, there is one more tree planted in the modern state of Israel in honor of your bar mitzvah, and it has your name on it. So when you go to Israel, good luck trying to find it. They don't all have everybody's name on it, but there is a tree planted in your honor. And now our service continues as we pick up our prayer book once again, and we invite up onto the bima for the honor of opening the ark one more time. Forever friends, Andrew and Amy Tanner.
And we'll be on page 24, starting at the top.
It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol. V'teit gedula liyoser breshit. Shelo asanu kiguye ha'aratzot. Velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adam ha. Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem. V'goraleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech ha'kol ha'aretz. Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo Ushemo At the conclusion of each of our services, we take a quiet and reverent moment to remember our loved ones who are not here with us physically, but who we remember in our hearts. And because we remember them and the blessing of their lives, they continue to bless us and to carry us. And especially at these happy times, we think about them and we think about how proud they would be to watch Trevor and to be a part of this celebration today. Today we especially think of Derek's father, Rodney Bell, Trevor's great-grandparents, great-uncles, aunts and uncles, Emma and Rachmil Gelman, Cecilia and Leonid Kenefskaya, George and Ellen Bell, Bernard and Joyce Walters, Don Felix and Paul Walters, Uncle Chris McKinney, Uncle Steve, Uncle Scott, Aunt Lisa, and Cousin Sarah Bell. And I invite everyone here to think about the loved ones who you miss and remember as we recite together in tribute to them, Mourner's Kaddish on page 25. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divra cherutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulomei omaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu v'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru. May the one who makes peace in the high places make peace right here for us on earth and for all people. And we say, Amen. As we sing with our concluding song, we invite the family, grandparents, aunts and uncles to come and join us on the bima and get ready for Kiddush and Motzi.
And we'll be on page 5, we're going backwards, at the bottom, number 4. Because this is Trevor's favorite song. I think Ryan likes it too.
Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, Kol lefanav birnana lefanav birnana. Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, Kol lefanav birnana lefanav birnana. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, Kol lefanav birnana lefanav birnana. Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, Yivdu et Hashem b'simcha, Kol lefanav birnana lefanav. Join us on Lai Lai, la 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 All right, Trev, lift that wine goblet.
This one first?
Wine first.
You got it.
First the
You'll do
Kiddush,
it.
then the Motzi. Ready?
Lift it up
Lift it
high.
up, lift it up. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Go ahead, you got a drink for everybody here.
You could drink. You're drinking for everyone. There you go.
And now uncover the challah. And the blessing that we're going to sing for the challah will also count as the blessing for the food that we're about to share over in the social hall right after the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And mazel tov.
Mazel tov. You did it. Shabbat shalom to everybody at home. And now?
And now we're all going to go into the social hall and have a kiddish snack, meal, some goodies.